Hey guys, welcome back to Woody's Gear Reviews. A while back we did a video off of a ratchet set that I got off of Temu. Video did really well. A lot of people asked me, where I got it from. We left the link in the description. And it was one of the socket tools by a company called Atuman. Ottoman, whatever you want to call it. But just to recap, this was the tool, right? It's just a multi-purpose ratchet that you can use in a multiple different configurations. That being said, cool tool. A lot of uses, but this company came out with something new. This was what they had before, and we're going to look at what they came out with recently, which is this guy. This is the Atuman RS2 ratchet screwdriver set. Now this is you can kind of tell by the box, this is a little bit bigger of a set no matter which way you look at it, but it's got some pretty interesting features. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get it out of the box here, and we'll go over it. So they're calling this here we go. They're calling this a 40-in-1 ratcheting screwdriver set. And now you can see where we have some big differences. Still comes apart, and there's a million different ways that you can configure this thing. That's just your 1/4-inch socket driver. I'll set that in there. But there's your extension. But what's unique about this is this button right here. Now you can pivot the head. So it's got a pivoting 180-degree head. And reverse. Tilt it turn it one way, opposite way, tilt it back. If you want to extend your driver, you can extend it as long as you want. Well, as long as you have attachments. These are all held in with magnets. You can do it this way. There's just a million different ways you can configure this. Put that on there. If you got to get into somewhere a lot deeper, you've got the option of doing it like that. Just a lot of different ways to configure this tool, and it kind of shows you what everything is up there. Now, as far as pieces that come with this kit, there's a multitude, right? We can kind of go over roughly what comes in it, because you can see there's a lot of different bits and some sockets. So right off the bat, you have your P1, P2, P3, SL4, SL5, and 6, PZ0, PZ1, PZ2. Then you have all the way down to your small little T5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 27. And then you have your H1.5, H2, H2.5, H3, 4, 5, 6, 6.35, and H8. And then you have your CV5 through CV13. We're going to take these out. I don't think it says on it, which is that I can read. It does not. So down here, this is your CV5. So I would imagine CV7 all the way up to, it's hard to read down in there, all the way up to your 13. So if you were to take this, which I know this is 1/2 inch, be right in here. Oh, I'm sorry, 13. Fits on there good enough to get the job done. Little play, but not much. We're just using it for example. Would it work? That's the question. Oh yeah. So it would work just fine. Turn it back the other way. And you're going in and out. Nice and easy. Very little effort. Was nice and smooth. Let's toss this off. Let's take this guy. Toss this guy in here and see what we do on. That's almost too easy, right? Turn it back the opposite way. No problems. So I will say one thing that I'm noticing is the head doesn't lock in any other positions but in the inline position. So keep that in mind when you're using this thing. If you're putting a lot of like side torque, you could get that. It didn't really seem awkward because it actually seemed more, with it pushed in like that, it seemed more ergonomic to fit in my hand. So not bad. It's not a deal breaker, and it doesn't feel bad like that either. Kind of offset. So it doesn't feel bad, but keep that in mind. It doesn't lock at a 90. That might be a deal breaker for some. Let's go back to the ratchet again and see how awkward that is if it were to with the long handle, probably. Let's put it like that. See, it kind of pivots around, but it doesn't get off of, because there's so much weight, it doesn't really come off of the head, and it doesn't, like, you know, go crazy. If you're in this angle, it stays pretty much right there. We're going to crank it all the way down into this wood. All right, so the more you torque, it does kind of, you have to be more in than out. You don't want to be out here because then it's going to slip around. So, all right, that's not ideal. Let's be honest. This one, a lot better of a tool because it's a stationary head, but it can only be used one way. This one, I think they could have did a little bit more and put a way to lock it in multiple positions, which it doesn't feel like it does. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it locks in any other positions but there. Because it's got, you can't see it, but inside there, you can see that ball detent in there that snaps into that circle. It would have been so easy for them to put a circle there and a circle there, which that's plastic. I'll be honest, guys, I'm not afraid to, you shouldn't have to, but I'm not afraid to take a drill bit that's that size, because you've already got a center line there. You probably can't see it on the camera. I could match up this center post and I could drill a small little hole there, which would probably lock that way. Is it going to be perfect? No. But one thing that I did look at this for, and I thought was unique, was if you wanted to go outside of this tool set on its own, and it seems like it would be better of an inline driver. If you had something like this Byberry tool that has the 1/4 inch screwdriver on it, like this one does, now you can go over here to your 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch shove it in there, stick that on the end, and it's a little big, but you have a multi-tool with an inline screwdriver head, which would probably work just fine because it's locked into place. And that doesn't feel bad at all as far as a tool. We'll take it out and see what it does. Now it excels far better as an inline ratchet. But to some people, they might want it to be the best of both worlds. And I thought it would lock at a 90. That's the only thing that I think this tool missed on. Everything else, the ratcheting is right. Having the, impact. These are actually all S2 steel. So you could be used in an impact. Having that and the ability to put it on here and taking your tool to a standard ratchet, right? And then be able to make it an inline driver was a cool concept. And I just like the look of it also. It's a cool looking tool. But they missed the boat by not putting a 90-degree detent there. And you really don't need it both ways, but then which way you grab the tool, you'd be able to tilt it either way and lock it in place. I think I can alter this, which I'm going to, just for me, to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. And Atuman or Atuman, whatever your name is, if you see this video, do us a favor. Put a hole there and a hole there that ball lines up into, just like that one, and let us lock this thing in multiple configurations. Would be 90-degree and inline. And then I think they've got a really good tool. You've seen, hey, you can put it on a multi-tool if you had it. But I think it speaks a different language when you can use it for what it is. And that's a decent inline ratchet or bit driver. And then a socket. Because that's not a bad looking socket wrench, right? If it just locked into place so you didn't have to worry about it. Because it's fairly free. I'm pretty sure we could tighten this up some and it wouldn't let it rotate as easy. But again, guys, if you're buying something, you shouldn't have to engineer it to make it work properly for you. And I think this company was onto something with this tool. They just missed one small detail. And for some of you that are watching, that may be a deal breaker. If they would have done it, then it would have been a game changer. I think it's a cool tool. Nice carrying case. Everything fits in here nice and easy. It's nice and molded. It's a hard metal outside shell. Something good to throw in a tool bag. And they have a nice little bit driver. If you start looking at bit drivers, go look at the new Icon set. $79. The old Icon set. $40. $39 and some change. And we can kind of compare that because I have one. Let's just look at it and see what the differences are. Because this would be, the kind of competition if you looked at stuff like this. What do you get here? Comparable. Pretty much the same bit configurations. All the same bits. Except you don't get any of the sockets. You have a lot smaller ratchet, right? In comparison, let's take this out. Lot smaller, lot more slim line. But this is the smallest this tool can be. It can't be no shorter. Well, this can be a lot shorter. But fatter, chunkier. Can you inline this one? I wouldn't call it inline, but you could offset, but it is. I've tried it. It's being off center like that. If you were trying to put a bit in here, could you do it? Yes. This thing's got a certain way that all these bits line up. Makes it a pain in the butt. Could you do it like this? Yes. It's just not ideal, right? I do it like that with my fingers, and then you can get in there. I think that would be the difference, but that's one thing where Icon wins. All the different places that this head locks into place. Every one of those grooves is a lock-in position for this tool. Very smart, very well engineered, good thought process behind the entire tool. When they made this, they have sold, I'm not going to say hundreds of thousands, but I know it's probably pretty close. Now their new one, the box is a little bit bigger, and it's a lot like this configured. But you're looking at $79, and, you know, at the end of the day, it just looks like a socket set. Or a bit driver socket set. Let's see, make sure we get everything back where it goes. That's how this kit comes. Temu. $25. So this is a $25 kit. That is a $40 kit. Super small, compact, throw it in a pocket and go. You have a bit driver ratchet. Here, you got a screwdriver, a bit driving screwdriver, and a socket. When you put a socket set, or when you put a socket on there, right? When I got this, I did not know that it did not lock into multiple positions, guys. If I would have known that, it may have changed what I thought about the tool as I was buying it. Because having the ability to go from that to that and get a good solid lock. But then when you get here, now I'm kind of all over the place when I'm going to be applying. I think if you were down on it, it wouldn't be bad, except you would give your hand, like if you were on the edge of something like this. Let's go ahead and put that back on, because I think that's important for people to know, because I don't want to encourage anybody to buy something that they're going to get hurt with. If you were ratcheting, look at that. If you had this on something, bearing down, trying to get a bolt broke free, you had the ability to slip down and you could crush your fingers there. I think they missed on the tool by not adding another detent slot. That's a shame, because I was so optimistic about this tool. Still a good tool, don't get me wrong, but it changed the capabilities, because looking at it like this on Temu, I'm like, man, there's so many capabilities. One of the biggest ones was, being able to go inline on a multi-tool. But it works great for that. But then you can't turn it the other way, in my opinion, and be a very good socket for your multi-tool, because it doesn't lock. It just kind of floats around out there. What do you think, guys? Decent tool? Still useful? Or if they would have put that detent hole, would that made this tool next level for the $25 that the entire kit costs? Nice case, molded case, hard shell, decent slim line, little big, but I get it. They utilized, I guess, as much space as they could. They could have got a little closer together with some stuff. Like in here, they could have put more of rails like this. Made things a little closer, but then they're a little harder to take out. So it is a bigger kit. Their old kit, of course, still a good tool. I love this thing. I use it a lot here at the workbench. And it also is an inline screwdriver, right? But there's no ratchet. It's just a screwdriver. Unless you turn it this way. Now it is a ratcheting, but not true inline, right? It's just a regular ratchet that way. This tool had a lot of capabilities. I really liked it. It really served me well. It's a good little kit. And I thought, man, this thing's better. Because you got the sockets and you got a 180-degree pivoting head that only locks in one position. Anyways, guys, that's what we have here. I just wanted to kind of show you what we had, some of the capabilities and uses of the tool, and to get y'all's opinion. I think a lot of people are going to be like me, on the fence because it doesn't lock in the main part of this having socket sets, right? In the 90-degree ratchet configuration, to me, it fell shy there. What do y'all think, guys? Do me a favor, leave some comments, let me know. I'm not an affiliate, they don't pay me. I bought this with my own money. I spent my own $25 to figure this out with you right here, right now, that it has a shortcoming. But if they want to sponsor me, I'll tell them how to fix it, and maybe we're on to something and they can make a lot better tool that a lot more people might find useful. Anyways, guys, do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe, click all those notifications. Give us a thumbs up. Share us with your friends, families, in-laws, outlaws. We appreciate it all. Still 3 ways to support the channel. You got Witty's gear, buy me a coffee, memberships. Not going to twist anybody's arms, but if you want to help the channel, those are 3 ways you can do it. Anyways, guys, let us know. Love y'all. See you on the next one.